So Avatar and Avatar the Way of Water both joined the $2 billion club and are two of three films directed by James Cameron to join said club. Will the newest entry, Avatar Fire and Ash, rest alongside the previous two? Let's find out and talk about it. What's up, rock and rollers? Today we are going to be reviewing the third and newest entry into the Avatar franchise, Avatar Fire and Ash. I don't think I need to explain what Avatar is because, like I said in the beginning, the first two are two of the highest grossing movies of all time, with the first one being number one, so there's really no need to do a recap of the franchise. A brief history of my experience with the Avatar films. I really liked the first one. I thought it was a cool sci-fi film that had the scope of historical epics that I love. I thought the characters and story were okay, nothing groundbreaking by any means, but still enjoyable. The second one, The Way of Water, I liked a bit better actually. When I first saw it, I didn't really know how to feel about it since it had been so long since the first one, a gap of 13 years, but over many rewatches since then, I really come to enjoy it and like it more than the first one. I liked the family aspect the film had and how it showed a true family unit with the father being in charge and leading the family, not like most of modern entertainment where the men are always portrayed as buffoons or incompetent losers. So if liking the first two, I was undoubtedly excited for the third. Question is, did it deliver? Mostly, yeah, it did. Before I go any further, let's talk about the story. The film takes place directly after the ending events of The Way of Water, like literally the next day, I think. It follows the Sully family grieving from their loss that happened at the end of The Way of Water, and that grief is interrupted when a new villainous Na'vi clan, the Ash people, emerge and cause havoc, causing Jake and his allies to gear up and fight them in a battle for the ages one last time. I'm going to get my main point of contention out of the way right up front. To me, Fire and Ash felt way too similar to Way of Water. I can sort of understand that because they were supposed to be one movie that was broken up into two parts due to all the stuff they wanted to add and show, and both films were shot back to back at the same time. With that being said, however, they're almost the same movie in a way. Same characters, except for the new Ash clan, which we'll get to. Same locations for the most part, same environments, same creatures, and even the same battle set pieces for the most part. In theory, it makes sense, like I said, since it's a continuation of the last one, but I was expecting a bit more for the big, grand, and maybe final Avatar film, and the final conclusion to this arc that these two movies had. This could be just a first viewing thing, and I'm seeing it a second time on Saturday the 20th in IMAX, so my opinion could certainly change. It did with Way of Water. Keeping with the bad, to get them out of the way first, there are way too many characters. Some didn't need to be in the movie at all. Most of the main core characters, Jake, Neytiri, Quaritch, the kids, the Ash people, some of the water people, were all fine. Some of the human characters did not need to be here at all. My last gripe with the film is how they deal with Spider. It's not a spoiler since it's in the trailer, but in this film, he gets the ability to breathe air on Pandora without needing a mask. That part I didn't mind and bought into it the way they explained it. There is another thing they do with Spider that I'm not sure how I feel about it just yet. I don't know if I should talk about it here since it would be considered a spoiler, but let's just say he gets the ability to be more connected to Pandora than most humans, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. That part felt a bit like jumping the shark for me, but maybe on a second rewatch that'll change. Another flaw is the film is long. It's 5 minutes longer than Way of Water, and for the most part, I didn't feel the length, but there are parts in this film where you can definitely feel it drag a bit. Maybe a bit towards the end it drug a little bit, but there is so much happening on screen in the last act with all the action, set pieces, character dynamics, etc., that it kept me occupied for the most part. The only negative thing I have is that I don't believe the title should have been Fire and Ash. The Ash clan have a role in the film, but I don't think it's a significant role to have the title be named after them. With The Way of Water, it made sense since most of the movie is about the Water Tribe and getting to know their culture. Here they have only a handful of scenes involving the Ash people and their backstory, and that's about it. There's one or two more negatives I can talk about, but that would be getting into spoilers, which I don't want to do here. So let's just transition into the positives, because there is a lot of positives. The single best thing about this movie is the new Ash people clan, a villainous Na'vi clan. They are awesome. Anytime any of them or their leader Varong, perfectly played by Una Chaplin, are on screen, I was totally hooked. They're more feral and primitive-like compared to other Na'vi clans we've seen in the franchise so far. I was concerned they were going to do the, oh no, they're misunderstood, they're actually peaceful deep down. Nope, they're straight up villains. They had their home destroyed by a volcanic eruption and no one came to help them, so they basically just said, screw everyone else, we're the only ones that matter. They're almost like a Mad Max Na'vi clan, which is just an amazing concept, and something different we haven't seen before. Their leader Varong is particularly incredible. I love the way she moves. She always swings her hips whenever she moves. It's really interesting. And yes, people have said it, and I'm going to continue this sentiment. When it comes to Varong,
that's a bad bitch.
Wait, hear me out. I know she's an alien and I would be a species traitor, but come on, man, we're all thinking it. She is fine. Una Chaplin does an amazing job with Varong, and she's easily the second best character in the movie next to Quaritch. And speaking of Quaritch, he is once again awesome as always. I liked him in the first film, but it was the second film and again in this film which cemented him as probably my favorite character in the franchise. His arc is just so interesting with what they put him through and the struggles he's feeling, since basically he's a new person in a new body but has old memories that aren't really his. Stephen Lang brilliantly plays Quaritch, and anytime he's on screen your attention is automatically glued to him. And when him and Varong get together, oh man, Quaritch knows what I'm talking about.
That was some mean bush.
I like Jake and Neytiri, but can we just forget them and have a whole movie that's just Quaritch and Varong wrecking havoc and causing trouble? They're literally like Joker and Harley Quinn, just two sadistic madmen, or woman in this case. They are so magnetic whenever they're together, and the memes they have spawned are too funny. I'll throw some up on the screen here now. I sure hope if Avatar 4 and 5 happens that we get more of these two, because we need more of these two. They are just too perfect together. The other characters are good as well. Sam Worthington is once again great as Jake. The Ocean people are good even though they have a smaller role in this film compared to the last. But it was Zoe Saldana who really brought their A game. She's been great in the previous films, but she is fantastic in Fire and Ash. They put Neytiri through a roller coaster of emotions throughout the film, and you can definitely tell Zoe was acting her ass off. Huge props for her. And of course, we can't forget to talk about the visual effects. The effects in this film are top notch as you expect. Kudos to every single person who worked on these effects. They are truly jaw-dropping. In every scene, you can see so much detail in the foreground and background. There is one scene in particular which involves Quaritch and Varong in Varong's hut, which involves something kind of like an ayahuasca type trip, and that combined with the motion capture of the Na'vi, it was like, whoa, this is like next level visual effects here. This is so damn cool. And the action scenes, my god, the action scenes. There's so much going on in each battle scene, it's almost nauseating, like damn, this is so much happening on screen right here. The final battle of this movie is essentially a combination of the final battles from the first two, but even bigger. It's really impressive to watch. You got flying creatures in the air, you got aircraft firing, you got gunboats in the water, you got whales fighting, you got hand-to-hand combat. It's so fucking good. One thing I think this film improved on is the music. The music in the first film, composed by James Horner, rest in peace, is simply iconic. And when he tragically passed before shooting started for 2 and 3, we knew the music was going to be a bit of a downgrade. I think Simon Fraglin, I think that's how you say his name, did a good job with Way of Water. Not as good as the first one, but how can you be? But he did okay. But Simon really stepped the music game up in Fire and Ash. You can definitely tell because there's a little bit more oomph to the music in certain scenes, especially when we first see the Ash people and the score that plays during the final battle. As to where I would rank this in the franchise, I would say that this is my least favorite Avatar movie. Right now, I would say The Way of Water is my number 1, the first film in second place, and Fire and Ash in third. I don't want to spoil it, but the way this one ends could be the ending of the franchise if 4 and 5 don't get greenlit. Even though I didn't love Fire and Ash as much as I was hoping to, I still wouldn't be opposed to seeing more of these characters in this world. The way Fire and Ash ends, I feel is a good enough ending that if we don't get more, it's a good place to end. As for box office, at the time of writing this script, which is Thursday, December 18th, it's tracking for an opening weekend domestically of around $100 million and over $350 million internationally. That's a good opening. Some might say it seems a bit low, but the thing with the Avatar films is that they always had a semi-okay opening weekend, but had strong legs down the road. So we'll see if Avatar Fire and Ash continues that trend. I definitely think it'll make 1 billion and maybe even 1.5. As to if it reaches 2 billion like its predecessors, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I could be wrong though. They say never bet against James Cameron, and people didn't think the second one would do good, but look what happened. Overall, even though it has some familiar beats and some flaws, I still think Avatar Fire and Ash is a worthy entry in the Avatar franchise, and definitely worth seeing in theaters if you can. If you like the first two, you're most likely going to like this one. If you didn't like the first two, then you probably won't like this one, but if you want to see an absolute spectacle of filmmaking and want to kill a few hours, then go check out Avatar Fire and Ash in theaters now.